Hello, students. This is Mr. Showalter. I just want to give you a run through of the spreadsheet to kind of teach you how to walk through it and utilize it to cycle through your data for your Radish lab and approach answers to your questions that you've got in terms of looking at the data and analyzing it and moving to the next level of things rather than just taking the data and graphing it. We want you to move past that and ask some bigger questions related to that. So quick overview. So what you'll notice here when you go to the spreadsheet, when you click on the link, you'll get to the list of all of the classes of all of the sheets. You'll notice here in this column it says class 1 names. Those groups were specified by your teacher and linked to a particular group number, which represents the sheet at which you will put in your data. So for instance, if you are Sophie and Annie and you want to go to your sheet, hover up over the number, hit that arrow right there, and you'll go to your sheet. One thing you need to do when you get here is you want to just kind of take a survey what's here. So we have your spaces for your names to be written in. Sometimes there might be some default names there. Spaces for you to put the control radish data in, and then spaces for you to put the experimental radish group data in down below here. You'll notice on the far left, there's a recording of the dates of observation that correspond to the different measurements that show up. On the far right, you've got varying graphs that'll turn around and graph the data that you analyze and input. So what I want you to do when you take a look at this, what we want you to do is when you approach this sheet, I want you to first change the names here. If you don't have a third member in your group, just delete it. If you have two members in your group, put it in. If there's just one, put one in, delete the other names that are in there. And then second, input all the control radish group data, again, in the yellow spaces. All the spaces in white will populate on their own. There's special formulas in the sheet that allow those to populate with information. Do the same thing with the experimental radish group as well. Okay, after you put all that data in, you should start seeing some graphs over here on the right. So after you do that, it'll save automatically. You'll want to go back here to back to table of contents. That'll take you back to that main page. If you ever get lost, all the pages have that link back to the table of contents. And then if you want to see how your radishes stack up with the rest of the class, their best measurements, if you click on that arrow, again, we'll go back and I did that a little fast. If you look here at the right in the blue category, if you're class 1, hover over that, click on the arrow, you'll go back to class 1 and it should populate names and the data associated thereof. These hashtag reference exclamation should change it once the data starts populating from your course. Control radish group, experimental radish group. The contents of these cells represent the largest values for that particular category. So the greatest number. Um, and then one more special kind of summary. If you go to all hours, once all the hours put their data in, it'll start to populate in this sheet with your experimental group information on top, the top 3 groups. If there's a tie, the top 4 groups, and then down here as well with the control group data. You can probably ignore this control group data and just pay attention to depending on how Mr. Lee wants you to go about your work. Again, you can go back here, click on this, click on that arrow, table of contents. You can check the other courses as well if you want to take a look at those and see how their students are doing in the same types of categories. One disclaimer you'll want to keep in mind is that you'll log into your school account as you approach this to get access to the sheet. When you do that, though, and you go to make changes, please know that your changes are recorded as to when you recorded, what you recorded in those cells, how you made those changes. And we do that in the event that there's a mistake that happens, so we can kind of track who made changes, where they made changes, then we can ask them kind of why they made that change, what affected that, kind of track through that process. So just so you know, that's the case. And again, we want you to use this as a tool to take your data to the next level and interpret it. You can take interpretations of the graphs that'll automatically get populated there on the right. And then you can also compare your work to your whole class's work, and then the top tier Radish is amongst all the courses in the section. So let us know if you have any questions. Relay your questions through Mr. Anderson, Mr. Lisa, and we can go from there. If there's an error in the spreadsheet, of course, let us know, and we'll try to work on fixing that as quickly as possible. Thanks, and happy data entry and analysis.